Donald Trump is absolutely spiraling out of control on Friday. He's been doing post after post saying everything relating to Jeffrey Epstein is a hoax. And he says, we are hereby launching an investigation into the hoax, and we're going to go after former President Bill Clinton. We're going to go after Larry Summers. We're going to go after JP Morgan Chase. He says this is a Democratic issue. So we are hereby saying that we are devoting all of the resources of the Department of Justice to go after the Democrats. And Trump says, I have nothing to do with it. And Republicans have fallen into a trap by believing that even though my name appears all over these Jeffrey Epstein emails in some of the most devastating ways imaginable, despite Donald Trump saying that Epstein is a great guy who likes women on the younger side. Beautiful women on the younger side is what Donald Trump said. You mean girls? Despite the fact that Mar-a-Lago was used as a recruiting site for Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring. And despite the fact that obviously Trump and the MAGA Republicans are covering up for this child sex trafficking ring, Donald Trump says we're hereby launching an investigation into the Democrats. And it's been post after post after he spirals out of control. Let's just take a look at what's been going down. We take a look right here. Let's take a look at what Donald Trump just posted. He goes, now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown and all of their other failures, I will be asking AG Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and many others and other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. This is another Russia scam with all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Records show that these men and many others spent large portions of their life with Epstein and on his island. Stay tuned. No, you were Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. And we know all of these links. We know your name is all over those Epstein files. You think that this is going to work? As we wrote at the MeidasTouch Network social media accounts, this has a whole lot of OJ is looking for the real killer type of energy. Donald Trump then posts the following: the Democrats are doing everything in their withering power to push the Epstein hoax again, despite the DOJ releasing 50,000 pages of documents in order to deflect from all of their bad policies and losses, especially the shutdown embarrassment where their party is in total disarray and has no idea what to do. Let's be very clear. The DOJ has over 3 terabytes of documents, enough to fill up the major skyscrapers. That's how many documents that exist. The 50,000 documents had already been produced in connection with other cases a long time ago. There's been no new documents that have actually been turned over other than what the Democrats in the House Oversight Committee were able to get from the Epstein estate. And those emails were absolutely devastating. I mean, when you have Jeffrey Epstein and his brother sharing memes of you saying, keep your daughter away from this guy, when Epstein's running the biggest sex trafficking ring of children ever in the history of the world. Not good when Jeffrey Epstein is telling the former prime minister of Norway that he's been giving advice to the Russians about you. And he was saying, well, let's give Sergei Lavrov some advice as well before the Helsinki meeting took place a month after that email was sent. Not good when you have Jeffrey Epstein emailing Ghislaine Maxwell about how you're the dog that hasn't barked. Oh, but you're barking, by the way, today, back in 2011, and saying that you were at the house with some of these victims. Not good. Really bad. And I know you're freaking out right now this morning because the walls are closing in on your dark, disgusting past. And by the way, can we just not forget that he's a guy, Donald Trump, who has been found liable for sexual assault? He's a sexual abuser right now, adjudicated, found liable in a civil case. He's on audio saying he grabs women by their vaginas because he's rich and they let you sexually assault them when they're rich. He said that that was courageous to children. He said it was a courageous thing to do when he spoke in front of the young Republicans a few years back when he called that locker room talk. We have that on tape. Donald Trump then goes on to talk about how he's bringing all of the prices down and how on Thanksgiving costs are 25% lower, which we know is all a lie. Just the guy lies about everything. He goes, costs and inflation were far higher under sleepy Joe Biden than they are now. In fact, costs under Trump are tumbling down, helped greatly by gasoline and energy affordability. It's a lie. It's a lie that is used by the Dems. It is a complete con job. Thanksgiving costs are 25% lower than last year under Crooked Joe. We are the party of affordability. You are not. Things are more expensive when you live in the real world, Donald, versus in golden ballrooms or triumphal arches or Great Gatsby parties that you're throwing where the slogans are a little party never killed nobody. Okay, when you live in the real world, you know that prices are far more expensive right now. For hell, the electricity prices. I mean, people can't afford rent right now. People are living paycheck to paycheck. Oh, and did you hear what the Trump regime is doing? Trump has ordered Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture, to make everybody on SNAP, all 42 to 44 million people on SNAP, now have to all reapply for their benefits. And she and Donald Trump will determine if they're actually in need of the benefits. They will have to reprocess all of the SNAP applicants, and they're going to say, oh, you're needy, you're not needy right now. And Brooke Rollins announced that earlier today. No wonder when you look at a lot of the data right now from even inside the Republicans, the NRCC, their Congressional Campaign Committee, shows massive warning signs for Republicans. For the first time in 2 years, voters whose top priority is inflation and the economy now prefer a generic Democrat for Congress over Republicans by 13 points. On the generic ballot from the internal Republican polling shows Democrats getting a wipeout against Republicans during the upcoming midterms. Take a look right here. This is the front page of Drudge. Dark days of the Don, and Donald, it's only going to get worse for you. But as he gets desperate, his grotesque and sick and despicable conduct gets even worse. What we just learned this morning as well is that employees at Ghislaine Maxwell's minimum security prison in Camp Bryan, Texas, they've been fired for leaking attorney-client emails allegedly to Representative Jamie Raskin. Remember how we've been reporting on all the favorable treatment that Ghislaine's been getting. She's been emailing her lawyers. I feel like Alice in Wonderland. I'm being treated so beautifully here. The warden is now helping me with my commutation and pardon papers. I'm getting puppies over here. This could not be a better situation for me. Well, the employees who produced those to Jamie Raskin apparently just got fired by the prison as Ghislaine Maxwell's basically running the show there. And anybody who criticizes her at Camp Bryan, if you're a prisoner, they send you to a maximum security facility. And she's like running the show, VIP. She's got like VIP status there. It's like a Trump resort, which I'm not sure I'd even want to stay at, but it's like that at the minimum security facility. A letter or a statement was just issued by Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer saying that she's about to file what's called a habeas petition in federal court. And she's going to say, based on all of this new evidence that she's learning, that the conviction for child sex trafficking should be overturned. Go back months ago. I predicted this as soon as Donald Trump started calling this a hoax. Remember what I said? I said she's going to file a habeas petition, and they're just saying they're going to do it. And what she's going to say? She's going to say, well, the government right now claims that all of this was a Democratic hoax perpetrated by the former FBI director and his daughter, Maureen Comey. She was the main prosecutor in the Ghislaine Maxwell child sex trafficking case where Ghislaine was convicted. So she's going to say, look, if the government says it's a hoax and they say that this is a Democratic thing, why would I be the one being prosecuted? That's what's going to happen. And she's going to use Trump's words basically to try to get herself out of prison. She claims she's not preparing a pardon yet, but I'm not sure I believe that because she lies about everything. MAGA Mike frantic this morning. He was doing media appearances. Here he is with Maria Bartiromo saying, you know what we really have here is Democrats are just trying to manufacture this against Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
And on the Epstein thing, look, we put a UC on the floor, a unanimous consent to just dispense with the discharge petition, just get it passed by everyone. The Democrats objected to it on the floor. I did that. I put that on the floor. They objected to it. If they were really about transparency and honesty and they had this great urgency about it, they would have voted to let that be done. It has never been about that. It's been about politics. They're trying to attack the president. They're trying to manufacture some sort of hoax that he had something to do with Epstein. And it is absurd. This has been going on way too long. Look, if they cared so much about the victims of Epstein, why didn't any of these Democrats who are howling and screaming and all the media types, why didn't they go for the files during the 4 years of the Biden administration? The Biden DOJ had every single one of these documents, and they never did a darn thing about it. You never heard any of these people say a word about it. They don't care about that. They care about going after Donald Trump because they have Trump derangement syndrome. It's very real, and it sort of encompasses all of Washington.
But why?
You know, it's wild. We talk all the time about heart health, gut health, brain health, but almost never about the most underrated organ in your body, your liver. It's doing over 500 functions every single day, filtering unwanted elements, supporting digestion, helping with energy, and we usually don't think about it until something is wrong. So what if we actually supported it before problems started? That's where Dose for Your Liver comes in. Dose for Your Liver is a clinically backed liver health supplement. This isn't just another capsule or powder. Dose is a liquid supplement. You take it as a daily 2-ounce shot, and it tastes like fresh squeezed orange juice. Dose cleanses the liver of unwanted stressors that are slowing your liver down and promotes daily liver function so your liver can do its job. Zero sugar, zero junk, zero calories. Your liver is your body's filter. It processes everything you consume and performs over 500 daily functions: energy production, digestion, fat metabolism, vitamin storage. And when it's overworked, you feel it. And when you drink Dose daily, you're going to reduce sluggishness, ditch those midday crashes, support your metabolism, and even aid your digestion. You can trust Dose. It's got real results with 2 double-blind, placebo-controlled studies showing its positive impact on liver enzyme levels. Ready to give your liver the support it deserves? Head to dosedaily.co/Meidas or enter Meidas to get 35% off your first subscription. Hey, your body does so much for you. Let's do something for it. That's dosedaily.co/Meidas, MEIDAS, for 35% off your first month subscription.
And then on the international front, you have Tom Homan, the border czar, saying that the United Kingdom is no longer a friend of the United States. Here, play this clip.
First of all, it's out of my lane, but I don't think UK is a friend of this country, a friend of the president. I don't think there's skepticism, and I'm not familiar with not sharing intelligence. I'll get it out of my lane. I'm a border guy, so that's the first one.
You have China moving its exports away from the United States towards Asia. You have Iran seizing a Marshall Island flagged oil tanker as it traveled through the narrow Strait of Hormuz on Friday, a U.S. official said, turning the ship into Iranian territorial waters, and the first such interdiction in months in the strategic waterway. Iran reasserting authority in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's only getting stronger since those bizarre attacks that the U.S. did on those nuclear sites that didn't really destroy the nuclear material. Hamas has quietly reasserted its control in Gaza, according to Reuters. As Carl Quintanilla writes, that Time magazine cover headline, "His Triumph looks ridiculous by the day." Remember, we were calling it out here on MeidasTouch on day one. I was saying this isn't even a ceasefire. It's certainly not a peace deal, but it's not even a ceasefire. Israel and Hamas didn't even sign the thing. Hamas didn't agree to disarm. Israel didn't agree to a 2-state solution. So what are we even talking about here? More to report as well. Let me just show you here, because I think why don't I leave with this? Here's what Congressmember Bacon had to say. Here, play this clip.
We now know, for example, that President Trump was briefed this week, in the past few days, on various options for U.S. military operations inside Venezuela, not necessarily in the Caribbean on the water, but on land in Venezuela. Do you have any concerns at all that the U.S. could be headed for war there?
Well, if we're going to go to war with Venezuela, the president needs to make his case, and they've done zero on this. I know we've targeted, approximately 20 boats that are being accused of carrying drugs. And by the way, there is some sympathy in Congress to stop this. We lose 100,000 people a year, but he should come to Congress. And if he wants to do continued operations on these boats, should get authorization. And if he's going to invade or do something with Venezuela, he needs to make his case. Because right now there's zero case being made for why we would do this with Venezuela.
And then here's what Congressman Emmer had to say this morning. Play the clip.
Affordability question. And we're going to talk to Jameson Greer in just a little bit about tariffs. So one of the things that the administration seems to be doing is trying to work out some new deals on tariffs to lower the price of things like bananas, coffee, and other things. Wouldn't you suggest, in terms of affordability, if that is actually an issue, that tariffs made it less affordable for Americans?
Actually, Andrew, while I appreciate the way your perspective on the question, the fact is it was Democrats under Joe Biden who pumped $2 trillion into the economy with something called the American Rescue Plan, which economists have called the original sin. They threw the economy into the ditch. Because of that, double-digit inflation like we hadn't seen in 40 years. Donald Trump inherited this broken economy. He's been fixing it. I'll tell you what.
The question is whether you think the tariffs are helping it.
I think he has been winning on the tariffs, without a doubt.
Winning in terms of the price for Americans that they're paying for goods?
Donald Trump and his administration have driven down costs on groceries. Gas is at a 5-year low, Andrew.
Then why are we making new deals why are we making new deals on coffee and bananas and other things?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's not a one-way street. This is about giving our producers access to markets that they have been denied over the years. This is about fairness. This is about putting Americans first. I think Donald Trump has been negotiating better than any president in our history in terms of trying to make sure that Americans not only have the things that they want and they can afford them, but that we have access to other markets.
When Speaker Johnson said,
there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. We'll keep you posted every step of the way here. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. We appreciate you.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.